When we want something, our immediate inclination in getting that thing, whether it's a goal or a dream or some sort of outcome that we want in our life, our immediate inclination is to chase it. We even have statements that are indicative of this, of chase your dreams, But what if I told you that the idea of chasing your dreams creates this energetic dynamic where what you chase runs from you? If you think about it, like you're playing a game with a dog and you chase the dog because you want to get the dog understands the game, the dynamic of that situation, and it plays the game with you where it runs away from you. It runs away from you, and you by virtue of you wanting to get the dog and chase after the dog runs away from you. But then when you let go of the chasing of the dog, not the wanting to get the dog, but the chase, it allows the environment to come towards you. Or you think of like, you ever been like out in nature reading a book or just sitting down looking at a mountain view or something like that, and a butterfly comes and lands on you? But then when you try to get the butterfly flies away. It flutters away, and you can't get it when you go after it. And this is the biggest paradox when it comes to achieving the things that we want to achieve in our life is we think that it's by virtue of the chase that we bring it into our life, but the reality of the situation is that what we want to do is to shift the energy dynamic. We want to shift the poles from chasing to attracting. Think of the moth and the flame for a moment. The idea of the moth and the flame is moths are attracted to light and they wildly and chaotically fly around looking for the light. It's funny because, like, dude, there's literally a bug in my room right now that's bouncing around on the light up here. I wouldn't be surprised if the bug comes in and tries to fly into my ring light here. But the moth wildly flies looking for light. And because it has no discretion, because it has no distinction between what it's the kind of light that it's chasing, it flies into the flame and kills itself. It flies into the flame because it's so chaotically chasing what it wants that it doesn't realize that what it's going after is something that looks like what it wants, but in reality is something that will result in its demise. Whereas the light, it just is the light. It holds its ground, it holds its frame, and it remains as the light which attracts things to it. It attracts the moth to it. And this is the energy that we want to embody, where rather than chasing our dreams, rather than chasing financial freedom or chasing our soulmate or chasing trying to get physically fit or chasing that goal that we're trying to achieve, we want to begin energetically embodying the energy of somebody who has it. Where when you stop chasing and embody the energy of it now, it allows it to come to you. And this is the biggest thing that people don't understand. Yeah, you can want something, you can go after something, you can desire something, but through your chase, you push it away. Like you think of like somebody you're attracted to and you want to be in a relationship with them. So you're chasing after them. What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys here. Right now, I'm talking about shifting the energy dynamic from chasing to attracting. Now, think about this for a moment. When you want somebody and you chase after them, that energy, it emits this repulsive energy. You can think about when somebody wants something from you and they're sitting there and like they're leaning in, you know that they want something from you and it makes you just want to lean away. But when you stop chasing and hold your frame and hold your ground and understand, yes, I want it, but I'm not going to chase after it to try to get it. I'm going to trust that by embodying the energy of fulfillment, it allows it to come to me. You think about when you're chasing somebody, they're running away, running away, running away. But then when you stop chasing them, they don't have to run anymore. This goes with people. This goes with our goals. This goes with money. This goes with everything that we want in our life. When you stop chasing it, it ends the game of the pursuit. It no longer has to run from you. So the first step is to stop chasing it. And that does not mean not wanting it. That means stopping going out of yourself to try and get it. The idea is to begin living in the energy of somebody who has it. This is the sentiment behind manifestation, which is something a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think manifestation is just sitting down on your couch repeating affirmations, right? You repeat, I am worthy, I am whole, I am complete, or like, it feels so nice to be financially free. You repeat these affirmations because you watch this one video on manifestation where it says when you repeat positive affirmations, it all comes to you tomorrow. That's not the idea. What you want to do is embody the energy of somebody who has it, which means thinking, feeling, and acting equal to the reality of somebody that does it. Like if you think about it, you want to get physically fit. You want to lose weight. You want to go to the gym and lose weight and get a better body or whatever. Do you sit on the couch and say, I am physically fit. I have lost the weight. It feels so good to be physically fit. You know, the positive affirmations. Is that what you do? No, you by you repeating those affirmations but not putting in any action, nothing is able to happen. We all talk about the law of attraction, but really what we want to start talking about is the law of action. And the idea of the positive affirmations is to elevate our energetic state to put us in the seat of somebody who has that reality and has obtained that reality, right? Where you're not gonna lose the weight by sitting on your couch repeating positive affirmations. You're gonna lose the weight by going to the gym and getting to work. The same goes with creating a business. The same goes with any sort of artistic creativity that you have in your life of creating projects, music, books, paintings, whatever it is. You don't just sit there and think about it. You have to act on it. You have to go towards it, but not in the energy of chasing it, but in the energy of thinking, feeling, and acting equal to that person now. Where, like, if you want to get physically fit, but you don't think it's possible, you're not going to take the first step necessary to make it happen. But the second you start believing that it's possible, the second you start getting excited about it, the second you start getting grateful about the fact that you're going to do it and motivated and committed, right? When you're determined to make that a reality, that's when you start going after it. And the idea is to elevate your state. It's called priming. You prime your energy field by getting into the state of somebody who has it. And it's from that state where when you take actions from that state, it gravitates the outcome to you. You don't chase after these things. What's up, everybody? Do I like Donald Trump? I have no opinion on that, bruh. For real, everyone want to talk about something happening but not put the work in to achieve it. Yeah, dude, and what's also interesting is you see somebody who's rich, you see somebody who has a business on their own, you see somebody who has the body that you want, right? And we all have this attitude of, must be nice to be where you are. But what we're looking at is their outcome. We're not looking at all the work that they put into it. We're not looking at the reps that they've been putting in for days, weeks, months, years to make that outcome a reality. And a lot of us, what we get jealous of is the outcome. But we don't get jealous of the work they had to do, the work they had to put in to get there. You know, it's far out, man, and it's far out. And that's what a lot of us aren't willing to do. We want an outcome, but we don't want to do what we need to do to get there. And it's a far out thing, man, because when we have a big dream, when we want to be financially free, we want to be able to quit our job and do our own thing, or when we want to find a partner, or when we want to quit our job and go elsewhere, or whatever it is, when we have a big dream or creating some sort of project in your life, we need to be able to hold the energy of somebody who is going to do it. And that's the hardest part for all of us. We want the outcome, but we don't understand the roadmap to get there. And the roadmap to get there is thinking, feeling, and acting equal to somebody who's able to get there. You need to believe in yourself. You need to be convicted. And you almost need to be, in this weird way, delusional. You need to get so obsessed with the dream that you have in mind that you basically start denying the data of the world telling you you can't do it, you're not good enough, it's not possible. And you need to completely deny that and go full force. You need to plow through all that which negates the fulfillment of your dream in order to bring it into your reality, you know? Hey, I changed my YouTube name to Chase Endorphins. You have this title, Stop Chasing, and it's a fitness channel. Just reminding you, this is. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you changed your username. Stop chasing it. And it's so funny you're here because I was literally just using the example of losing weight or getting the body that you want. If you go to the gym and your goal, your outcome is to get fit, but all of your energy is in the seat of, this is hard, I don't know if this is possible, I don't know if I can do it, this is too much, it's gonna take too long, I don't believe in myself, you're gonna go to the gym and you're not going to have the energy to sustain that process. But if you get into the and like what's so far out about this stuff is, even if you're going to the gym and working out and putting in the reps, by you embodying that energy of lack, you keep the weight. It's wild the way it works. And the reason we start losing weight and getting fit is because when we see that first result, when we see that first outcome of you lose some weight or you start toning your body, that begins to prime your energy. That begins to prime your energy where you start to embody, oh, this is possible. And not only that, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this happen. And then because you're getting into a heightened, elevated emotional state, that's what becomes the jet fuel to getting you to that outcome. You know what I mean? It's the only way to achieve your goals. Otherwise, you will become absorbed by the attitude of all the quitters. Exactly. Think about it. Why do people quit? Why do people quit going towards what they want? You want it. But why do you quit the process to get it? It's because we feed ourselves all this nonsense that derails us. It derails us. And also, here's another thing is when you want something really bad, but you don't take steps towards it, that desire begins to lose its momentum. That desire begins to lose its vigor. It begins to lose its power. Because you're not acting towards it and therefore not seeing any progress towards it, you start to put that desire on the back burner. You start to get fascinated with something else. And you end up just, it's said, you end up just digging a bunch of shallow holes rather than digging one really deep well, And it's wild. We have to embody the energy of commitment and discipline and dedication and courage and the ability to see through all the haters talking shit, saying it's not possible, even if it's your own family, That's a big one, man. That's a big one. I'm starting to understand why people leave their hometown. You all know that stereotype of the one that leaves their hometown. And we also know the stereotype of the person who peaks in high school. I've started to realize that the reason we leave our hometown is not because we see it in the movies and I'm going to leave my hometown and go pursue my dreams. We leave our hometown because we begin to, on a subconscious level, recognize that our hometown is like a ceiling. Our hometown is a cap on our potential, where all the situations in your hometown, all the people in your hometown that you associate yourselves with, they're all at a vibrational set point. And the point that you're trying to get to is out beyond that vibrational set point. And all the feedback in your environment is that of the version you're trying to grow out of. So people leave their hometowns as a sort of symbol. It's a symbol of letting go of your limits. Because what's far out is the people who doubt you the most are usually the people that are closest to you. The people who don't believe in you are usually the ones who know you the most. Yo, Shadow Monarch, what's good, bro? It's been far too long since you pulled up, man. How? Myth Runner, what did I ask, bro? I forgot. People want everything to come to you like a handout. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. We think that we're just going to get it all just by wanting it. right? You ever heard about the people that like win the lottery? They get like millions of dollars, and then 5 years later they end up broke, addicted to drugs, and homeless. And everybody they loved left them. It's because let this land when I say this. Having $1 million is different than being a millionaire. There's a complete difference between the two. Being a millionaire is an energetic point. It's an image. It's a set point within yourself. Being a millionaire. Being a millionaire means you're somebody who knows how to make millions of dollars, and not only that, but keep millions of dollars. Having $1 million is just having $1 million, and if you don't know how to keep it, if you don't know how to invest it, if you don't know how to work with it, and also if it's something that's super pedestalized, oh my god, $1 million, you're gonna blow it. Like, a lot of us think that the point of money is to spend it. Like when you get $1 million, you're like, well, I'm gonna just spend it because that's what you're supposed to do with a bunch of money, and then you fucking blow it because you don't understand how to change that energetic set point within you to become somebody who can sustain that identity. Self-sabotaging 101. What's with these comments? Well, we're on YouTube Live, and right now there's loads of people scrolling, and they just come into here and they drop some sus shit and then dip out and keep scrolling. So yeah, just hang in there, man. It's so beautiful because like the vibe of the live stream starts to further establish itself the longer it goes on and the longer you stick around. Left a dislike for you, fam. Thank you, bro. Have fun on your scrolling journey, man. Those people are criminally deranged. It's a mindset. You're right. Also went over this morning with Brian, and that makes civil libertarians stunned. I do not know who Brian is, brother. How did you gain this house? So you can cause thermonuclear extinction. What are you talking about, bro? Brian Griffin. I do not know what he's talking about. But yeah, like it's self-sabotaging, where if you're not somebody that thinks you can have an abundant, prosperous amount of money, and then you get that abundant, prosperous amount of money, that's inconsistent with who you see yourself to be. And the way our mind and body works, it's wild the way this works. It tries to keep us on track with who we think we are. So if who we think we are is somebody who financially struggles and will never be financially free, when that abundance comes into your life, bro, guess what? You best bet that you're gonna find a way to get rid of it. Because even though you may think you want loads of money, that's not who you see yourself to be. You see yourself as somebody who can't have it but wants it. So when it comes into your life, you find a way to get rid of it, to come back into equilibrium with who you see yourself to be. I think I'm rich, but I'm poor. You might be joking. I don't know if you're trolling, bro, but that's how you become rich. You ever heard the statement, I feel like $1 million? You're saying, I feel like what it would feel like to have $1 million. That's the energy you want to act from day in, day out. You want to walk around feeling like $1 million. You want to show up knowing that you're all that, right? You want to own that energy. Feel like $1 million as much as you possibly can, because that's the state that you begin to attract abundance into your life from. I literally thought of that the other night while I was falling asleep. That whole statement of, I feel like $1 million. Isn't that interesting? Feeling like $1 million is how you get the $1 million. If you feel like fucking $1, that's not how you bring abundance into your life, because you don't see it as possible. And then when it comes into your life, it's so inconsistent with who you see yourself to be that you find a way to get rid of it. Like, dude, I was literally talking with my dad a few months ago, and he's coming into money all of a sudden, right? And he's terrified. He's terrified because like his number one thing he likes to complain about is the bills. The bills. His whole identity is revolved around this horrible economy, and I don't have enough money, and it's so hard for me. Right? Victim mentality. But then All this money's coming into his life, and he's terrified. Why do you think he's terrified? Why do you think he's terrified to be financially free? Because even though it's what his entire identity is revolved around wanting, becoming financially free completely destroys that identity structure. What he's fearing is the fact he knows that who he takes himself as in his life right now has to die in getting all this money, or else he's going to get rid of it. He's not even aware of this kind of stuff, by the way. He's not aware of these subtleties, these energetic subtleties. But I thought it was really interesting. He was talking to me like, I'm so stressed and I don't know why I'm so afraid to have this money all of a sudden. And I can't describe it to him, but the reason it is because it's completely inconsistent with who he sees himself to be. Well, it should make him feel free, right? You'd think, but when your entire identity is based around not being free, the prospect of becoming free is horrifying. Like if we have a job that we hate and we bitch about it and our boss is a dick and treats us like crap and we get overworked and all this stuff, and then somebody comes along and says, hey man, I have a really good job offer for you. You're going to get paid way more annual salary than you're getting paid right now. We're going to treat you well. PTO, we'll set you right up. You can start next week. A lot of us are terrified of that. Why are we terrified of that? It's because we've built an identity around the bitching. We're comfortable, we're cozy in our bitching. We don't want out of it. We'd rather sit there and want something different than to get something different and to do something different. It's almost like we get addicted to our pain. We get addicted to our lack. We get addicted to our trauma. This is what keeps us in shitty relationships for way past their due date, is we get addicted to complaining about it. And the idea of getting out of it to pursue something differently or to free ourselves from that shitty relationship is horrifying because it's so inconsistent with who we see ourselves to be. And what it requires to become somebody outside of the context of that pain is to essentially die to who you are now. A lot of us would rather sit in our suffering and feel right than to let go of the suffering and walk the road of the unknown to become somebody new. What's a belief you hold that could be completely wrong? Just something as simple as like reincarnation. We may not reincarnate. Who knows what happens? I hold tons of beliefs when it comes to like the afterlife and stuff, but all of them could be entirely wrong. But the reasons are totally different. For what? Hello from Oregon. What's up, man? Yeah, mine is aliens, but who knows? Yeah, exactly. That's the idea, is who knows. How we doing today? I'm doing wonderful, man. I won't be able to be on live stream super long tonight. I usually, like, on Thursday is usually my weekend day. Like, it's the beginning of the weekend, but I gotta work tomorrow. So I'll be able to hang out for a while, but not as long as I usually hang out. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. My whole ass car broke down the other day, and it's at the shop, and I'm borrowing my little sister's car right now. So I got a bunch of shit going on. But guess what? I don't feel in lack. That's the interesting thing. That's what's so mind-boggling to me about this whole energy of fulfillment and abundance and prosperity is when things like my whole ass car broke down and I'm looking at a potentially pricey repair that, oh my God, I don't even know if I can afford it and all this stuff. But somehow I feel excited. I feel fulfilled. I feel uplifted because conflict like that, it wakes me up. I literally made a video just the other day talking about how when conflict arises in our life, we often try to run away from it. We hate it. We get frustrated, scared, burnt out, disillusioned. But conflict is good in that it introduces change into our lives, where we all like fall asleep into the autopilot in our life, where the mundane, the routine that we live in every single day in, day out, and we get comfy and cozy in that. We snuggle right up in our comfort zone. And then when shit goes south, when shit hits the fan, your car breaks down, or somebody in your family dies, or you get fired from your job, or when stuff like that, or your partner leaves you. These things are horrific, yes, but they're so beautiful and so powerful because they hold so much potential within them, because it's in those environments that we are able to completely create an entirely new life. Those are the opportunities that allow us to become a completely new person. But when we're in our comfort zone and we're just doing the same thing every single day, living in our comfort zone, we often don't want to change. We don't want to wake up out of it, you know? No, 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 dude, I feel you. You're speaking from a very privileged position. A lot of people are one bad event away from ruin. That is absolutely true. And, like the car instance, for example, I'm very fortunate. I'm using my little sister's car right now. And I feel confident saying that because I lead a life of love and abundance and hope and prosperity, and positivity, that allows these alternative options to be available to me, you know? Like I made a video just the other day talking about this, and somebody said the same thing. They're like, you know, because I mentioned, having a relationship and a job, or moving somewhere where we don't want to do any of that. We don't want to leave the job. We don't want to leave the relationship. We don't want to move somewhere else, but that might be where our transformation lives. But I think a lot of us, like, if you have a job and you have a relationship and you live somewhere, you more often than not have the ability to get a different job, to leave the relationship if it's not good for you, and to move somewhere else. It's just you're reallocating yourself, and the resistance and the fear around that and the scarcity and, oh, I can't do that. That's not often coming from the position of you literally can't do it. It's coming from the position of you don't want to. You know? I got you. Think right, live right, love right, and things will work out. Yes, dude, like I'm dead ass when I say that. By me leading the life I live, it allows me to have these opportunities in my life. Like it allows me to have this beautiful home that I live in now. And if something were to happen where I had to leave, I'm completely confident that I'd figure something out. I'm completely confident where I'd find somewhere else, or I'd be supported for a period of time until I can find somewhere else, and my whole ass car breaking down. Like I can afford to rent a car if I need to. And then I have loving family members that want to support me and be there for me. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you are just financially burdened. You are like, which pillar should I stop from falling? Yeah, and I completely understand people who call it a privilege, because a lot of us are. Like if my pet got sick, and so it was like something critical, and I needed to get immediate surgery, but they said we're going to need $3,000 right now, I probably couldn't do that. I could maybe in some kind of way like bring it about immediately and sort of take a loan from people in my life or something and then pay them back later. But yeah, a lot of us are in a position where we can't afford to bounce back from those setbacks, and a lot of us get really set back from that, But I really do feel like the more you lead a life of positivity and fulfillment and being a good person, you're broadcasting this energy to the universe of gratitude and love and abundance and faith too. That's very important, is faith in reality, where more often than not, the solution reveals itself in those moments. What state do you reside in, dude? I'm in Maine right now. Hi, Devin. I haven't forgotten about the email. We'll shoot that your way ASAP. Also tried chatting with Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up, dude? I remember you now. Yep. Also chatting with Trahosh user. What is that? Your camera quality is lower. Is it shitty right now? I want to believe in reincarnation. It gives me peace. There's a very good chance that what we believe happens is what happens, you know? And um, here's a really far out idea of reincarnation. If reincarnation is real, this is what it's like, where you don't recall the past incarnation you had. You can't perceive a incoming incarnation you have. It's this feeling of just, it's this right now. This is what reincarnation is like, is where you're brought back in to a different subjective life form, and you have no recollection of if it's happened before and if it'll happen again, or if it's even happened. You know, that's what reincarnation is like, which is really fascinating to me. So it's almost one of those like non-falsifiable things where you can't really determine if it's true, and you can't also prove it wrong right now. You know, but do I think it's possible that we come back again and again, where we animate different life forms again and again and again? Absolutely. Reincarnation is interesting. I wonder why the amnesia component. I think because it would completely break down the entire dynamic of life, the game of life that we're playing, where like the idea is to forget that we're one in order to remember the one, to go through the journey of learning who we are and remembering who we are and growing and transforming. And if you know that you keep coming back and where you've been and where you're going, it almost like diffuses the point, right? It's kind of like a spoiler. Daddy Isla says hi. What's good, bro? Good to see you, man. How's everybody doing tonight, by the way? My name is Devin, by the way, if you're new here. Oscar, what's good, man? I'm going to heaven for sure. I love it. Yeah, it's really fascinating, the idea of reincarnation. And if reincarnation is real, I feel like it's the idea of slowly refining, slowly learning and awakening and growing one lifetime at a time. According to Hinduism, to even consider reincarnation shows that you've been on the path for a long time. You know, and what's far out about Hinduism is they have this idea that once you're awakened, you don't come back. That's the idea in Hinduism, which is really interesting to me because like why wouldn't you come back after having awakened, you know? And then there's the idea of the bodhisattva, which is somebody who's awakened but chooses to come back into form, into an incarnation in order to awaken others. You know, and a lot of people who get on the path of spirituality and spiritual awakening and stuff, they tend to cross this moment where they think, what if I'm a bodhisattva? I'm here to awaken everybody, you know? It's cute. I met with a well-known Kabbalah rabbi earlier who's been a therapist for 65 years for some mentoring, and he had some interesting Hinduism adjacent points. What were they? That's interesting to hear. Are you talking about Zen Buddhism? I don't know if it's Zen Buddhism in particular, but it's definitely Buddhism. The word bodhisattva comes from Buddhism, yes. It's an interesting concept. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, he passed away a while ago. I don't know when, but he stated how the next Buddha is not going to be an individual, but a community, a society. You know, hold on. I gotta block this guy. He's spamming. There we go. There we go. The next Buddha is not going to be an individual. It's going to be a wave of individuals. The Buddha is going to be a community of people that create these ripples of awakening through the world, you know? Because I try my level best to attend your live It is like a warm place, kind of from different place altogether, but definitely it is like I need to be here. It feels familiar, and somewhere it feels like home. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. That's how it feels having you here too, Shachi. It's a beautiful experience, and I'm so grateful that you've found me and that you've found this community and are able to spend time here for real. I hope you've been well. Ram Das. Let's go. What is these symbols? What is that symbol popping up, dude? I see this weird, like, little glitchy symbol showing up. It looks like Chinese or something. What a lovely I love how you doubled down on that statement, bro. That's hilarious. Question for you. When it comes to raising one's consciousness, not being stuck in the lower chakras, stuck in survival and sexual compulsions, how do you advise someone who has transcended past those compulsions when they are dealing with extremely difficult financial strain and other stressors, essentially remaining on the spiritual path while dealing with absolute chaos? So this is what I want you to understand, is that spirituality is not different from your worldliness. Spirituality is not this separate thing from your human life and your human tendencies and your human desires. It's not separate. That's the biggest lie going. That's the biggest fallacy going in the spiritual community, is that spirituality is not who I am now. Spirituality is something I need to become. But the spiritual path is life itself. And you can't fall off the path of life. You can't fall off life. Spirituality is life itself. And if you're experiencing financial stress that's compelling you to do these things that you don't want to do, you're going to do what you do, and you can't not do it. You're either going to abstain or you're going to relapse and engage in one of these things. And guess what? Both of those scenarios are the spiritual path, and both of those scenarios hold within them the growth that you need in that moment. It's the idea of how, like, you're a parent and you're sitting in your room meditating, and your kid comes in and interrupts you, and you say, "Go away, son. Mommy's trying to get enlightened." You don't awaken in spite of your life. You awaken through your life. Your life is the vessel of awakening. You don't run away and reject and push it all away in order to become holy. You integrate and become grounded and integrated within where you are now, and that's what allows you to awaken further. If you're pushing anything away, you're deviating from your awakening. You're deviating from the highest growth that you could be utilizing in that moment. It's the idea of, like, Ram Dass is a beautiful spiritual teacher. He called it horny celibate syndrome. I am a celibate. I don't have sex. I don't engage in lust. But you're still obsessed with it. The seeds of wanting it are still all there. You're just not doing it physically. You don't want, by cutting it out on the outside is not the way to freedom. It's like trimming a shrub that grows from the roots. It's only going to come back. What you need to do is uproot the thing itself, which entails working on yourself. You don't get over lust by just not having sex. You get over lust by understanding and unraveling why you're all tied up in it, right? And also allowing it. Like, if you want to go have sex, man. We got plenty of time here in this universe. We got plenty of rounds to go through of getting over it. Sitting there and pretend and make believing you don't want it and acting like that makes you holy, you're just ensnaring yourself. You become somebody who's not doing it on the outside maybe, but is completely preoccupied on the inside with it. And interestingly enough, the way to move through it is to integrate it into your life. Not and I'm not saying go out and do it, but I'm saying understand and get down with the fact that it's something you still want and it's something you're not ready to let go of. And when you're really done with it, it'll fall away. You're not going to have to sit there and meditate your way through your compulsions. You know? They naturally fall away. Like people in your life that you don't talk to or anymore, they just kind of naturally drifted away. You know? Ram Dass has another really funny statement. He talks about people who stop smoking and they say, I haven't smoked in 3 years, 2 months, 1 week, 4 days, and 37 minutes. You're gonna die from not smoking. You might not be smoking cigarettes, but your energy is completely occupied with not smoking. You don't want to be busy not smoking. You don't want to be busy not using drugs. You don't want to be busy not having sex. You want to release the resistance to these things. It's like intrusive thoughts. When's the last time an intrusive thought disappeared by you trying to force it away? That only makes it come up more. You need to become, I keep quoting Ram Dass, you need to become friends with your neuroses. You want to become friends with the things that you're afraid of about yourself, or the thoughts you're afraid of, or the habits you have that you don't like. You see what I'm saying? That which you resist persists. Exactly. Charlie, thank you so much, bro. Inner Shift Society Discord. Yes, sir. I have a Discord community. Charlie's in it. Dippa's Lip is in it. We got a few other people in here that are in it, and I would love to see you guys in it as well. You can go to my YouTube channel, and you'll find a link at the top that says join the Inner Shift Society, and I would love to see you guys in there. Do you drink caffeine? It makes me anxious and paranoid, but I'm still drinking it. Yes, I drink caffeine, and to what you said after that, you'll keep drinking caffeine until you're done drinking caffeine. You can't bullshit yourself into thinking, I'm going to stop, but I really, really want it, because you're not moving anywhere, you know? My suggestion is keep drinking the caffeine, and then you'll eventually get tired of it. You'll eventually be so fed up with the cognitive dissonance of not wanting to do it but still doing it that you'll finally let it go. Look them in the eye. Exactly. Stop running from your thoughts. Stop running from your bad habits. Allow them. Like Chase Endorphin said, turn around and face them. I'm depressed. Here we are. I'm depressed as hell. Wow, this is interesting. You notice how you're not depressed. There is depression present. And there's almost this lucidity behind it. You're aware, I'm depressed. That part of you that's aware of depression is not depressed. It's witnessing it. It's like the part of you that says, I'm watching a movie, right? A lot of us get absorbed into the movie and we lose ourselves in the movie, and by doing that we lose our sovereignty. But when you can be aware, just the littlest bit in the background, I'm watching a movie, that is what you want to cultivate to free yourself and to liberate yourself from being ensnared in the depression. And that doesn't mean push it away. That doesn't mean pretend it's not there. That means just being real, man, and not lying to yourself. Owning it. Wow, I'm depressed as fuck right now. Life seems really gray. You know? Develop this sort of almost humor about it. You allow it. You don't go, oh God, this is horrific. I'm so depressed. I'm never gonna get out of this. You develop this sort of witness perspective. You know? Couldn't get the invite link to work. Man, I think I have to keep updating it. Maybe that's what it is. Daddy Ilo, are you not in my Discord, bro? I feel like you've said before that you tried and couldn't get in. Where's our favorite witch tonight? She's probably busy being a mom right now. Ram Dass equals Robert Alpert. It's Richard Alpert. That's funny. Of Ashkenazi Jewish roots. The rabbi I met with today worked with him too. No way. Like literally physically worked with him. What would you say is freedom? I'm on a really spiritual thread right now. Freedom is not standing anywhere. Freedom is not having aversions attachments or aversions to where you are. Freedom is allowing yourself to be where you are. Freedom is, you may want to get out of a particular situation, but you're not attached to getting out of it. Freedom is allowing yourself to be where you are. If you're depressed, freedom is allowing yourself to be depressed. When we live in that world of polarity where my freedom lies in being happy as opposed to being depressed, or my freedom lies in being in a relationship as opposed to being single, or my freedom lies in being rich as opposed to poor, that's what keeps us in prison. But you can develop freedom right now. Is freedom doing whatever you want to do? No. No, freedom is not doing whatever you want to do. I mean, maybe on a practical, physical level, like you could consider freedom being able to do whatever the hell you want to do. But I'm talking about freedom. I mean, you asked what I think freedom is, and I'm speaking from a more like philosophical standpoint, where freedom is a state of mind. It's not a circumstance in your life. Freedom isn't happiness as opposed to sadness. Freedom isn't being rich as opposed to poor. Freedom isn't being in a relationship as opposed to being single. Freedom is how you feel within. It's who's living their life. Where do you stand inside? Danielle has arrived. What's up, homie? Danielle, you haven't booked your call with me, homie. I want to chat. I think they were both at the California Institute for Integral Studies. Wow. Yeah. I think I remember Ramdas talking about that. That was early on. Happy to see you. It's so good to see you too, Danielle. How have you been? This week, most definitely. Yes, please. I would love to chat, man. And you want to know what's funny, Danielle, is you were the first person I ever had a coaching session with. It's hilarious. Freedom isn't real when I was in prison, although I did gain a new prison daddy, so I was happy. That's an interesting one, isn't it? You can't possibly be free in prison, but you can, though. You can, because freedom isn't this thing that's contingent upon external circumstances. Freedom is where you're standing inside. That's a hard one. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I understand if you guys don't understand that or that doesn't make sense, because it's far out to imagine that, could I be in prison and still be free? You know? I think freedom is being free of every sort of psychological conflict in your life. Yeah, and to go off of what you just said, free from your psychological conflict does not imply that psychological conflict is not there. It means you're not attached to it. You're not obsessed with its alternative. You're not chasing or running from anything. You're right where you are. I've had this really far out thought. This is another thing that you guys might be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Imagining getting eaten by a shark is worse than being eaten by a shark. Can you hear that? Can you see what I'm saying? The worst thing you've ever imagined is imagining being eaten by a shark. But if you're in the reality of fucking swimming and you start getting eaten by a shark, you're so in the moment with it that it's free of your imagination of how horrific it is. And it just is what it is. And it's almost not as intense as what you're imagining. Like, I think it was Mark Twain who had a quote. He says, "I've suffered many horrible things, most of which never happened." Well, you'd be dead if you actually got eaten. Well, think about the process of being eaten, of going from alive to getting eaten by a fucking shark and dying. That experience, what if that's not as bad as us imagining being eaten by a shark? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it will not hurt. No, it definitely will hurt physically. It definitely will be horrifying and this whole horrific experience. But what I'm saying is the experience of it is different than the imagination of it. Were you attacked by a great white shark? No, and I'm not. I can't speak from personal experience, but like I said, what I'm saying is that we often suffer more in our imagination than in reality. You know? Imagining losing a pet or a loved one. Yeah. Imagining your pet dying is often worse than the reality of your pet passing away. And that does not mean that it's not painful when your pet passes away. But what it does mean is that the way we juice up our imagination more often than not makes things fucking magnitudes worse than the reality of it happening. Like you think about fucking asking somebody out on a date. You get there and you get all on this tissy. Oh my God, I'm gonna do it. Oh, I want to ask. What if they say no? What if this? And you scare yourself right out of it. When in reality, asking somebody out on a date is as simple as walking up to them and saying, "Hey, would you want to hang out sometime?" You know. I get where you're coming from. Personal experiences. Yeah. Like I said, the way we juice our imagination often makes things way more intense than the reality of the thing we're imagining actually happening, you know? Damn, I just had like a reverse burp. That was crazy. Free to be ourselves fully. Yes. Yes. What if I told you guys that being happy isn't something you have to go out and find, but it's something that naturally arises when you stop resisting the way things are? Burp up. Think about it. Happiness is like the sunlight behind the clouds. You don't go out and chase the fucking happiness down. The clouds naturally clear and the light shines forth naturally, right? It's some happiness is not something you create, it's something you return to by getting rid of all the resistance, by getting rid of all the weather and forecast that's blocking the sun and the light of the happiness, you know? My beautiful mother has arrived. The spiritual witch. Oh, it's so good to see you. How are you? Hello, fam. Yes. Everybody give some love to my mom, the spiritual witch. Isn't it fucking awesome that my literal mother is here in my live stream? A therapist once told me it was more debilitating because when you imagine things, you can engage all 5 of your senses. Yeah, and almost you're imagining the engagement of those senses rather than the actual engagement of them, you know? We approach a lot of things with a sense of doom because of our fears. Most people are imprisoned by their fears, which really only exist in their minds. Exactly. Our fears hold us back from so much, man. Our fears hold us back from becoming the person we want to become. Our fears hold us back from... Dude, I gotta pee so bad. I have to go here in a second just to go pee, but then I'll be back in a second. But I want to finish this thread. Like, you ever had a moment where somebody you like had a crush with, you were like at a social gathering or a party or something, or you're hanging out with a group of friends, and there's somebody you have a crush on, and everything clears for a moment where like you want to like lean in and kiss them, and the whole environment is perfectly curated for that. They're sitting there, they're looking at you. You can tell they kind of vibe too. And you want to do it, but you keep refraining because of your fear of rejection, your fear of execution, of thinking, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then somebody walks into the room and ruins the moment, and the opportunity passes you by, or they get up and walk away, or you were going to ask somebody out on a date and you're sitting there like, I don't know. And then the moment passes you by because you paralyzed yourself through fear, you know? Mom, quick question. Do you know why Wait, why would she know? Did your account of yours get blocked or something? Try said hi. What's good, bro? I've experienced actual loss that was way worse than imagining, sadly. How much, I feel you, it's very possible. How much did you imagine the loss of it? Yes, I was assuming she'd know because she was the wrench. She may have unintentionally blocked you if she like saw a comment in a certain way or something, but I don't understand why she would. Maybe she wasn't even the one that did it. Guys, I have to go pee so bad. I will be right back. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm coming. Dude, it's always so weird for me to have to go to the bathroom on my live streams. What's the vibe tonight? The vibe is beautiful, man. Getting a bunch of really good questions. We're kind of talking about how we suffer more in our imagination more often than we do in reality, you know? But yeah, dude, imagine like being live on stage and being like, hold on, I gotta go shit real quick. Rough, bro. Life is beautiful. Life is so beautiful. And what's beautiful is that the hard times and the scary stuff and the hard stuff and the horrible stuff is part of the beauty. It's all beautiful. It's a nice vibe. Always nice to see Devin. I just got done with a pretty well-known Kabbalist rabbi who worked with Ram Dass, and Devin was talking about Ram. Dude, that is so cool. If you guys have never Chachi laughing at that. If you guys have never listened to or watched Ram Dass, I highly recommend it. He's such a beautiful being. I'm grateful for the hard times because it's all part of it. Exactly. Damn, my cat. Yang, what are you doing, baby? What are you doing, hon? There's a quote, I think it was Carl Jung, who said, if you want to have branches that ascend into the light of heaven, you as well have to have roots that descend down into the depths of hell. The capacity to which you can experience happiness and fulfillment is directly proportionate to your capacity to also experience pain, you know? So when you're really fucking down, when you're really down, when you're heartbroken, when you're grieving, when you're devastated, when you're lost, when you're at ends meet, I want you to also understand that the potential of you being in that state also ties directly to how high you can soar as a human being. You know? Like when you're grieving, and you're grieving really deep, and you've been fucking grieving for months, years maybe. That's a reflection of your love. That's a reflection of your capacity to feel. That's a reflection of your capacity to love. You know? A lot of people don't understand this. Wait, can you repeat that Jung quote? Yes. If you want to have branches that ascend into the light of heaven, you also too have to have branches that descend down into the depths of hell. They're equally proportionate to each other, you know? The people we call like NPCs, where it seems like they don't get too excited, they don't get too sad, they don't get too angry, they don't get too happy. It's because their capacity, their bandwidth to experience the depths of those emotions is not great. It's not high. So they're just this kind of mainstream person. And dude, if my understanding is correct, that's kind of what like SSRI medication does. Is it dilutes your ability to perceive pain, like emotional pain, but also in the same stroke, it dilutes your ability to perceive and experience happiness. So you become this just kind of humdrum. I'm here. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. Right? You become mellow, you know? My capacity is 3. Riddle me this. Oh, wait, what is this? I'm loud and obnoxious. I like music that rhymes. Oh, Riddler, stop it. I know. What's so funny is if you get offended by what he just said, it means you understand what he's saying. It's almost like you get caught mid thought. How is everybody feeling today? How have things been for everybody? I've been going through some pretty crazy shit right now. What is that? I keep seeing this weird like emoji thing. Mom, what you just said, there's this weird like little Chinese character. Like $1,000,000. Let's go. Yeah? You feeling like a fucking $1,000,000? You walking around like you own the place? I was joking with my mom last night. I'm not even joking, bro, but like how, yeah, living from that energy of feeling like $1,000,000. That's how you bring these abundant situations and opportunities into your life. Is you live and you look through the lens of somebody who has it. You know? Like it's not even arrogance to walk around like you own the place, because you're not thinking you're better than people. You're owning who you are. You're showing up. You're prideful. You love yourself. You own yourself. You're not running from anything. You're not afraid. You're open to starting conversation. You're open to leading conversation. You know? What I want already wants me. That's facts. Danielle, you weren't here in the beginning, but I was talking about the literal title of this live stream is Stop Chasing and Start Attracting. We want to completely shift the fucking poles around. When you chase, it runs. That's the way it works. This whole idea of chase your dreams. No, don't chase your dreams. Become your dreams. My wrench is gone. No, it's not. Not for me. I think something might be a little glitched out. Your wrench is there for me. You don't want to chase your dreams, man. You want to become them. You want to own them. You want to become somebody who lives them, right? And that all starts in shifting the energy, the standpoint you're in right now. Like my mom said a moment ago, feeling like $1,000,000. You want to elevate your energy into fulfillment, excitement, gratitude, love, motivation, courage. You want to begin practicing living in those states, because when you live from that state of fulfillment, that's how you attract those things into your life, rather than operating from a deficit and operating from scarcity and chasing them. Do you remember me as the salutation guy? No, I do not. Don't. Dreams, rhythms with beans. Kinda. Yeah, you could make that rhyme for sure. Okay. Does it not show the wrench for you? That's weird. How many new people do I got hanging out here? I used to comment salutation. I love your font, dude. That's hilarious. That's funny. You got it like in your keyboard or something? Oh, what is this? Do you think American media is incentivized to keep as many people crazy as they can because the main advertising funder is the pharmaceutical industrial complex? No comment. I wouldn't change much to that. Not only, so yeah. A lot of doctors, a lot of pharmacists, they want to keep you sick so that you keep getting the meds. They don't want you to heal, because when you heal, you don't need them anymore. A lot of therapists do this. You're forever getting better. You never get better, because when you get better, you're done with them, and they don't want that. They need to keep raking in the money, you know? Greetings all first time viewer. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the live stream. I go live every Thursday, by the way, guys. I'm not gonna be able to stay super late tonight because I have to work tomorrow. But I typically go live every single Thursday and hang out for a couple hours and chat with the homies and meet new people like yourself. Tess, what's good, bro? What's going on here? Lila, I know, hon. I know you won't go out. Yeah, YouTube's transitioning away from wrenches towards shields now. No, I see the wrenches. What is the best way to get freshness and perspective? Can it be travel, moving, doing new things? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. You want to put yourself in an environment you've never been in before. Even if that means it doesn't even have to be this big, flashy travel to the other side of the world or quit your job, and it doesn't even have to be like that, or move across the country. It can be as simple as driving to work in a different way, or sparking up conversation with somebody you've never talked to before, or doing your morning routine in a different order. Lila, what are you doing? Cats are so weird, dude. What are you doing, bro? Lila, what are you... Yeah, it's gonna attack you, bro. That's karma. He said, fuck karma. Rearrange your house. Rearrange your room, you know? My motto these days is do today different. Do your life today in a different way. Try something new. Drive to work a different way, you know? Talk to somebody new. Wear something new. Learn about something new. Read something new. Listen to something new. You know? What plant is that behind you? That is a monstera. A big old monstera plant. Doing something that makes you uncomfortable will help you get strong. Exactly. That's exposure therapy, bro. In order to become good at something, you have to first be willing to look like a fool at it. Like me on these live streams, for example. This isn't the most comfortable thing in the world. I'll tell you that. Hanging out in front of a bunch of people that I don't really know. And, dude. Lila, what are you doing? He was just bunny kicking that shit. But no, like live streaming, for example, is not like the most comfortable thing to do. And the first time I did it, this is payback for locking my cats in here. He's raising hell over there. No, I was established on YouTube, so I was used to like expressing myself and stuff. But going live is like this. It's a different energy. It's a different energy where I'm not just chilling, making a video with nobody there. Now I got an audience of people watching me, like literally watching me. Like, what's this guy? What's he gonna say? What's this all about? And there's a lot of like hate comments because tons of people are moving through the stream and stuff like that, and it's a completely different energy. But in order to get comfortable with it, I have to do it. I have to put myself in that environment of uncomfortability in order to become comfortable, because you'll never become comfortable with something that you never attempt to do. Like traveling alone, for example. The first time I traveled alone, dude, was horrifying. I had like a breakdown. I had like a mental breakdown the first time I traveled alone, where like the excitement and adrenaline of finally driving and getting on the plane and flying and leaving the airport and getting my car and going to my little hotel room, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in the hotel room and it's just fucking dead quiet, the sound of a AC just and I look out the window and I see a bunch of people. I went from Maine to California, whole other side of the country. And I'm sitting in this hotel room and I'm looking outside and I don't recognize anything or anybody. And I'm like, what? I remember I said to myself, what the fuck am I doing over here? It's terrifying. And it's funny, dude. I called my mom. She's in here right now. I called my mom. I was like, I'm kind of freaking out right now. And she said, have you gone grocery shopping? I said no. She said, you should probably go get some groceries, which was so funny, dude. Cause like, that's my new routine. Like, that's the way I do it now. When I travel, yeah, food. That's what I do. When I travel, it's like, all right, I got to figure out, like, let's go get some food. Cause that gets you out in the environment. You go out and shop. You see what I'm saying? You familiarize yourself with the setting a little bit. And you also provide yourself sustenance, you know? It was hilarious. Where in California? I went to Mount Shasta, California, to visit that big old mountain. Food as comfort object and as literal sustenance. Like, I'm at this hotel with no food, no water, freaking out like, oh my God, I'm in fucking California. I don't want to be here. And it's not the kind of thing where you can go to the airport and be like, please take me home. You're out there, bruh. But now I've traveled alone. Have I only traveled alone? I've traveled alone 3 times, right? Something like that. 3 times, I think. Shasta for the spiritual community, the mountain. The spiritual community was a beautiful part of it, yeah, but I was there for the mountain, bro. First time I traveled alone was in the Netherlands. My friends went home and I said, I'll stay for a while. I ended up blowing all my money and slept in bushes and roundabouts and ate McDonald's. Wow! As wild as that sounds, I bet that was an amazing time, bro. Maybe not. Everyone release your super chat charges. Charlie, it's so good. Charlie, why were you fucking flaming my video on Discord earlier? What the hell, man? I've literally, hey, what's good, man? I don't say your name for obvious reasons, but it's good to see you, bro. I've literally become a vagabond in different towns to get used to real life. Yeah, dude, exactly. It's so beautiful living outside your comfort zone. You know? Like, this home I'm in right now, the version of me 7, 8 months ago did not think it was even possible to live on my own. I thought I don't have enough money. I didn't have enough money. I thought this is impossible. I can't do this. The economy isn't good enough. I need a roommate. I need like support in housing from like some fucking the government or something. I was like, I can't do it. But then my whole ass grandfather died, which was the one I was living with, and it forced me to grow. It forced me to become somebody different. And the person I became was somebody who it finds it very possible very quickly to live on my own. And like when I was searching around for homes and stuff, I was like staying so close to my comfort limit. I was like, I need the lowest rent. I need a place that allows this and that and this close to work and all this stuff. I had all these boundaries around it. But then I began to embody this energy of like, dude, I own this shit. Feeling like $1,000,000. I began to be like, no, I can fucking do this, no problem. I'm thinking I can only afford this. I was like, no, I'm going to afford this. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it happen. I don't care. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. And I found a place that was outside of my comfort zone, outside of my ballpark of what I thought was possible. I went there, I signed the lease to live here or whatever, and here I am. And guess what? It's more than possible. And I've become somebody who will never not be able to again, you know? And by living outside of my comfort zone, I'm constantly growing. And that's what we have to do. Our comfort zone is not oriented around thriving, it's oriented around surviving. And the comfort zone is defined by predictability, where we want to know everything that's going to happen. We want to know where we live, who we're living with, where we work, how we get to work, what days we work, what we're going to do at work, what we have for lunch, what we have for dinner, what we do on the weekends. Everything becomes predictable, and in that becomes comfortable. But it doesn't always mean fulfilled. It doesn't always mean happy. You know? Charlie, thank you so much, bro. Yeah, comfort zone is not comfortable. Comfort zone can also be a shitty relationship. Think about that. The reason we get wrapped up in shitty relationships is because we're too afraid to leave it. Even though we understand that the relationship is the source of our pain, but we're too afraid to leave it because who we are now has to die in order to become somebody else. We would prefer to stay in our pain because we know it than to risk it all to become fulfilled. I have a story to share. Let's hear it, dude. What's good? And I'm sure you like yourself better for 100%, bro. 100%. It's, if there's one thing I want to tell you guys tonight, it's to do something that you don't think you're capable of doing. You know? Go skydiving. I'm just kidding. But do something outside of your comfort zone. Go live on fucking YouTube or something. You know? If you hate your job, get a new job lined up and quit that bitch. Quit that job and go work somewhere else. If you don't like where you live, move somewhere else. You know? If you want a partner but you're afraid of exposure, ask somebody out on a date. Do something you've never done before. Attempt to live beyond. This is a stretch to say, live beyond your means. That's what I did and am doing. I live beyond my means, and we think, oh, that's the stupidest thing you could do. You're going to fuck yourself over. You're not able to do that. You're going to bite off more than you can chew, right? But what if that's not true at all? What if by living out beyond your means grow? That is where the growth and magic happens. Facts. You see what I'm saying? What if by living beyond your means, you become somebody whose means includes that beyond, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I used to think I could only afford a place that is this much rent. And then I said, no, fuck that. I'm going to find a place that's nice and I'm going to go there. And then I do it and it's nerve-wracking, but I'm like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. And it works. We can live beyond our means by assigning more value to our risk. Exactly. And also, that's an interesting statement, bro, because if you put too much value on a risk, it makes it seem more riskier and can actually backfire and make you not want to go do it. Like if you want to ask for a raise at work, and you think to yourself, you're like, I don't like my current salary. I want to ask for a raise. But you assign major value to, what are they going to give me that? What if they don't? I really hope they do. And it can completely scare you out of even asking for the raise, right? But when you make asking for a raise normal and consistent with who you see yourself to be now, is I'm somebody who deserves a raise. I'm somebody who will get a raise. And you live from that energy where you're almost like, it doesn't make it less valuable, but you're not pedestalizing it. It makes requiring and asking for that thing much more capable in your life. Or if you want to ask somebody out on a date, but you assign so much value to the risk of you asking, it scares you right out of your socks, and you show up like, hey, would you, oh, I'm so sorry, but it's just really valuable that you say yes, right? Weird, it fucks the whole situation up. Whereas, if you make you asking that person out something that's normal and equalized with where you're at now, you're much more apt to act in that direction. And that doesn't mean it's not a valuable risk that you're taking, but it means that you're not pedestalizing the risk because of the value that you've attributed to it, you know? I love you. I love you too, bro. Thanks, I wrote it. I can see it. Yeah, no, I can see you, bro. Hey, Richard, what's good, man? Hey, mama, I know you're learning. Yeah, she's here, dude. She's here. Oscar, can we try something for a moment? I'll try typing on my Mahosh channel and tell me if you see it. Dude, that's so funny. Yeah, I can totally see it, man. You're good. I'm sitting with myself tonight feeling gratitude. Yes. And do that every fucking night, Danielle. Every night. Every day. Do that as much as you can. I'm telling you guys right now, Rather than trying to chase after what you want, feel the energy of fulfillment of it right now, the energy of excitement and gratitude and possibility, and it gravitates it to you. You do not have to step a single step outside of yourself to achieve and realize that dream. All you need to do is align your energy with somebody who is able to have it, and you will take the next steps necessary in order to make that dream inevitable. Like a shake shedding its skin. It's really interesting you say that, man, because my mom knows about this. I don't know much about this, but we were like in the year of the snake, and now we're moving into the year of the horse or something. And yeah, it's like as we move into, it's not like there's this immediate jump from the year of the snake to the year of the horse. The snake sheds its skin and becomes a horse. You see what I'm saying? Though it's a process, is what I'm saying. Listen to my analogies. I love when the analogy doesn't make fucking sense, but you force it to make sense. What's the significance of the flags in Buddhism? These ones? If I remember correctly, they have mantras and prayers written on them. And the idea is you hang them outside, and the wind blows the prayers around all over the world. It's Tibetan, right? I don't know if... you might be right. Yeah, you might be right. Chinese New Year, let's go. I don't think I'm going to stay much later tonight, guys, because I literally have to work tomorrow, unfortunately. But I do want to hang out for a little bit longer. Do any of you guys have any questions oriented around this stuff that would be fun to chat about back and forth for a little bit? I'm off myself. Take care, everyone. Good to see you, Devin and Mom, and nice meeting you, Oscar. Much love to you, man. Much love. I hope to chat more on Discord soon, man. And yeah, about the Discord, if any of you guys aren't in the Discord, I'd love to see you in there. You can just go to the links on my YouTube channel, and you'll see a link that says Join the Inner Shift Society, and it'll take you right into the Discord. I love how bro said 6'7" earlier. That's so funny. Yeah, what are you guys thinking? How's everybody feeling, man? I hope everybody's had a wonderful week and a beautiful weekend ahead, even though we still got Friday tomorrow. I got into a little argument with my manager today. You want to know why? I'm starting to realize I don't take criticism well. Not all the time. But it's like I'm very like, when I find a way and a rhythm in how I do things, and I know I'm doing it well, when somebody introduces, you should do it this way, or moreover, no, do it this way, I have so much fucking resistance to like, who the fuck are you to tell me to do it like that? Even when they're right. Stop talking. You stop talking. Keep scrolling, boy. Stop talking. You're weird. At least you spelled "you're" right, bro. That's good. That's good. You're definitely going places. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's so funny. Bro talks shit and then just gets banned. Oh. Yeah, that's something I definitely need to work on, is taking criticism better. I mean, and another thing is like, when I say criticism, like that guy talking shit right there, that's not me. That's not criticism. That's just him being a dick. When I say I want to work on taking criticism better, I mean when somebody's genuinely trying to help me, when somebody's genuinely trying to help me to do my job better, or to learn something, or to grow in some kind of way, I need to learn how to be more of a student rather than the stance of like, I know.
You don't have to tell me. You know what I mean? That's definitely something I'm working on. Because I can, and it's so fascinating because like I understand that my inclination to like resist criticism, it's got some early roots, bro. I'm still trying to feel out like where does that come from? You know? Do you talk about the law of attraction a lot? Absolutely. That's something I talk about very frequently and passionately now is the law of attraction and manifestation and those kinds of things. So how did you handle the emotion? Because me and my manager are like really close, and I'll subscribe. Hell yeah, dude, you're gonna love the content. You're gonna love the content, and you'll love the live streams as well because we talk about that stuff all the time. I go live every Thursday, and I'm so glad to have you here. But yeah, dude, how did I handle the emotion? Because me and my manager are so close, he knew that what he was saying was right, and rather than being a dick and getting like offensive or offended by my emotional reactivity, he just held his ground. He's like, dude, I'm not. He's like, you don't need to take this personally, man. This is just what we need to do here at work. This is the way to do it. I know that this is how we should do it, and I'm just trying to coach you along of how this is how you should do it. Because he held that ground, I'm coherent and cognizant enough to understand he's right. I'm getting emotionally reactive. I need to relax and understand that he's trying to help me and help the company, you know? So I just let it go. I just let it go. And it has this like half-life where it has this afterglow rather where it's like and then it kind of releases, but you just got to let go, you know? In those instances, or for me in that instance, I just let go. I'm like, yep, I got emotionally reactive. I was wrong. I was butthurt because I took his criticism personally. I took it as I'm inherently flawed as a human being, right? And then I let it go because I recognized it. One true, it happens often when you're younger. It's a carryover from competing with your older generation while learning. But the real world, it's good to just stop and listen. That's facts, dude. That's facts. And see, that's when I say early ties, that's kind of what I mean is it like the way that I've found that I respond to criticism is to try to diffuse it through intellect. I try to rationalize my way out of your criticism. I'll be like, yeah, what you're saying makes sense, but like, it still works when I do it this way, or I see what you're saying, and like, that's easy to do. Like, I try to rationalize my way through it to avoid feeling offended. You know? That's good you realize that. Most people just stay stuck and hurt. Yeah. Most people aren't willing to own the fact that they were wrong. You know? What's this stream about? This stream is about self-development, man. Self-transformation. Working on ourselves, talking about psychology, spirituality, the law of attraction, and basically just becoming a healthy, well-rounded human being. So if you vibe with that stuff, you'll love it here, bro. And you'll love the content on my channel, by the way, too. But yeah, a lot of people stay in that victim mentality. A lot of people would rather feel right than free. You know, dang, it's not about DMT. No, psychedelics is something we can talk about as well. Like, what did you say here? Why has DMT switched up on me? Do you feel like I would have a spiritual? I used to feel like I would have a spiritual orgasm upon a DMT breakthrough. For the past 10 trips, it's been nightmarish and hellish. Like, well, you can't really predict what happens with DMT. And you also got to consider how frequently do you use it? Why are you using it? Are you using it to have spiritual orgasms? Or are you using it to learn and grow as a human being? You know, are you using it to explore? Or are you using it to feel good? You know? So inquire into why you're using it, how frequently you're using it. And it can often it can often signal to you through the content of the experiences to pump the brakes a little bit. And also, the nightmarish experiences may be trying to teach you as well. It's not all about the bliss and spiritual orgasms. What helped me was I always tried to do what somebody told me to do, master it, and then if I want to put my own critique after that, I do so. Yeah, I love that, man. We have to live our lives from the student rather than the master, you know? How far is it to grow and to learn? I've always used it to learn and to grow. Well, what are the nightmarish experiences teaching you? It is also about your mental state going into the. Yeah, oh yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, for real. And your resistance and aversion to those horror experiences, it just makes them more prominent. It's a hardcore spiral when you start working with psychedelics like that. It's like, don't think of the white rhinoceros, Don't have a horror trip, don't have a horror trip. Good luck, man. But yeah, it's absolutely about your set and setting. Where are you at and who's taking it, Especially if you have high anxiety going in. Yeah, I feel like there's a healthy anxiety when it comes to using these things because it's a very powerful, intense, jarring experience a lot of the time. But if the anxiety is telling you, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, don't do it, I don't want to do it, I'm not ready, I don't want to do it, but you still do it, that's when you can end up in some dangerous territory. That is probably spot on. Might be my set and setting because I'm kind of in a low point in life. Yeah, so lay off the psychedelics, man. That's another thing is you could be using it. You say you're using it to learn and grow, but you could also be using it to escape the low you're in right now. Gage, what's good, bro? Welcome. I think I'm gonna get moving here soon, guys. I gotta wrap up my evening and get to bed because I gotta be up at like 4:30 in the morning. Too much focus on set and setting. Oh, I thought you were talking some real shit. Unfortunate. I got a question. It's not going to be a good question, I bet. But let's hear it. Let's hear it. What do you got? Before I go, what is Gage's question? What do you got for me, bro? Also helps to have some weed with you. Whoa, I don't recommend that part, bro. At least somebody like me, that'd make it fucking magnitudes worse, dude. What were we doing in the live? What do you mean? What do you mean, bruv? For me, a weed tobacco mix helps level me out. Yeah, that's facts for certain people, Since I don't smoke weed, imagine taking the advice of like having weed to calm me down on DMT would just, oh my God. Like before I got here, like therapy. No, not therapy. That's a weird word to describe it. We're talking about self-development and self-transformation, and we're talking about, psychology and spirituality and manifestation and that kind of stuff, which is usually what the live streams is about, and it's what I talk about on the channel. But yeah, I'm actually getting ready to head out. But yeah, anybody that's new here, if you've hung out for a while and you vibe with the live streams, I go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I would love to have you guys there. It's always a beautiful time. I usually live stream for longer, but I got to work tomorrow, so I got to dip out a little bit early tonight. But yeah, any last little statements, closing remarks before I head out? Okay, I have a question. Let's hear it, dude. I know you're not going to drop some such shit. I'd love to hear it. See you, Evan, Witch, and all good night. What's your favorite breathing technique? To take, first of all, just a deep breath. That's a good one. That's a good one. But also, as far as like a breathing technique, to take in a lot of oxygen relatively quickly, and then a breath hold. And then hold. And then a slow release. That will completely shift the energy within you. It's a beautiful like rush, and don't abuse it because it's very powerful. But yeah, it's good. I learned it as the Wim Hof method. You can go very far with it. That's what I'm saying when I say don't go crazy with it. Just like what I just did completely spaced me for a minute. It's very powerful. And yeah, like I've done the Wim Hof intensely and I held my breath for like 5 minutes, dude. It's crazy. You're basically like super saturating your body with oxygen by doing that. And then the presence of oxygen makes you like you don't have to breathe because live oxygen is like seeping into your bloodstream. It's cool. Having cardiac related asthma, I feel like the Wim Hof is yeah, I'd follow that. Don't mess around with that if you got something going on like that. High off your own supply. Yeah, dude, exactly. You can absolutely get high off your own supply when it comes to your own breath. 100%. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. I'm sorry I'm cutting it short tonight. It's a good live tonight, but I do really have to go. I love you all so much. I hope to see you on the channel throughout the week. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next Thursday on my live stream after that. And also, anybody that's new here, I have a Discord community where a bunch of the homies here right now are in it, and we can talk whenever. Just go to the top of my YouTube channel, and you'll see a link that says Join the Inner Shift Society, and you'll be able to get to the Discord that way. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out, and